Adding and subtracting fractions. Well, the first rule for adding and subtracting fractions is that your denominators need to be the same. That's the first thing you have to look for. And if the denominators are the same, then it's really easy peasy to add or subtract. All right, so write that down. Denominators must be the same in order to add or subtract fractions. And if they are, you leave the denominator alone. The denominator doesn't change. Okay? That's another thing you can put down. The denominator, this time I'm going to I'm not going to write the whole thing out. Abbreviate. The denominator stays the same. So the denominators must be the same, and then they stay the same. So the denominator for this is going to be 17. And then we just add the numerators. 3 plus 2 is 5. So the last thing you do is add the numerators. And then if you have to, you always, always, always simplify. So 1, 2, 3, 4 things. 9/14 minus 3/14. The denominators are the same, so it's super easy peasy. That stays 14, and then we subtract. 9 minus 3 is 6. I'm going to have to simplify because they're both even. I divide both of them by 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 14 divided by 2 is 7. Final answer is 3/7. All right? So what happens when the denominators are not the same? Well, then it gets a little more complicated. You have to add a step or two. All right, so what we just did is what I call the easy peasy. Easy peasy is when the denominators are the same. All you have to do is add the numerators. A half easy means that you can take one of the denominators and turn it into the other. So I've got two different denominators. I can't add them until they're the same. So I say to myself, self, can I take one of these and turn it into the other? And I look at it and go, hey, 5 times 4 is 20. So yeah, I can. Which means that I don't have to do anything to this fraction. All I have to do is change this one. But really, I'm just going to find a equivalent fraction because I need to have the denominators the same. So I will multiply this by 4 because 5 times 4 is going to give me 20. And whatever I do to one, you gotta do to the other. So I'm going to rewrite this. Instead of 3/20 plus 2/5, this changes to 3/20 plus 2 times 4. 2 times 4 is 8. 5 times 4 is 20. I now have my denominators the same, and I can add. 3 plus 8 is 11, and the denominators stay the same. So my answer is 11/20. All right, so that is called the half easy, and that is when one denominator can be turned into the other. And we do that by multiplication. Okay, so 2/5 I changed to 8/20, which is really still 2/5, just in a different looking term. And that is the half easy. The last one, unfortunately, is called the no easy. And that's just because you you have to change both denominators. You can't make one turn into the other. Okay, so here is an example of a no easy. Whenever you see a fraction, you got to add and subtract. Just start off, say, is this an easy peasy? Nope, the denominators aren't the same. Is it a half easy? Can I make one of the denominators turn into the other? 3 times nothing's going to give me 4, and 4 times nothing's going to give me 3. So it's not a half easy. It's called a no easy, which means we have to find the least common multiple. The least common multiple. We've done that before. Okay. Now, if you know your basic facts really well, you can probably look at this and know what the least common multiple is. So if I skip count 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, and I skip count for the 4s, 4, 8, 12, 16, when will these two meet up? You probably heard it when I was skip counting, and that would be the least common multiple, and which would be 12. Now, if you wanted to do our ladder to figure out the least common multiple, remember, we'd say, well, what can go into at least 2 of them? And the only thing that can is 1, right? So 1 and done, and since I'm 1 and done, I make my L, and 3 times 4 times 1, the least common multiple is going to be 12. So you can do the ladder method, or you can just look at it and say, well, I know 4 times 3 is 12. So that's what you're going to do. You're going to have to now change these fractions into equivalent fractions. So since this is now going to be 12, this is going to be 12. You have to say to yourself, self, what did I do to get 12? What did I multiply this number by to get 12? Well, it was 3. So that means I have to multiply this by 3. What did I multiply this denominator to get 12? I multiplied it by 4. That means I got to multiply this by 4. And then I would suggest rewriting this when you do your multiplication, just because it starts to get a little crowded. So 3 times 3 is 9. The denominator is 12. 1 times 4 is 4. And the denominator is 12. There. Now I can subtract. 9/12 minus 4/12 is 5/12. And it is in simplest form. Okay? Let's go over that again. All right, let's first take a look at the easy peasies. Go ahead and look at 9/10 minus 2/10. And what would that answer be? You can just do that right in your head. 7/10. What about 5/8 minus 1/8? What would that be? Do that right in your head. Did you get 4/8? And then take a look at that. What would that be in simplest form? One half. All right, so those are the easy peasies. Now let's take a look at the half easies. Okay, here we have 8/9 minus 3/18. So I notice that the denominators are not the same, so I start off by saying, well, is it a half easy? Can I make one of these denominators look like the other? Well, sure, I can say 9 times 2 gives me 18. All right, so I'm going to change that into an 18. And what did I do to get that 18? I multiplied it by 2. So I have to multiply my numerator by 2. So now I'm going to rewrite this. 8 times 2 is 16. Put my denominator. And this one I don't have to do anything to. That's why it's called a half easy. I only had to change half of the problem. 16 minus 3 is 13, and the denominator stays the same. And that is the half easy. All right, so when I see a fraction, I first look at it. Are the denominators the same? No, so it's not an easy peasy. Is it a half easy? Can I take one of these denominators and make it turn into the other one by multiplication? Nope, 4 times nothing's going to give me 6. 6 times nothing is going to, I can't do anything, can't do that to get 4. So that means it's a no easy. I have to find a common denominator, which means I have to find the least common multiple. And if you know your basic facts, you might be able to see it right there. If not, you could do skip counting, or you could do your ladder. We come over here, 2 can go into 4 2 times, 2 can go into 6 3 times, and then the only thing that's going to go into both of those is 1. So we always say 1 and done, and this is least common multiple. 2 times 1 is 2, times 2 is 4, times 3 is 12. So the least common multiple is going to be 12, which means that both denominators can be turned into 12. And what did I do to get 12? Well, I multiplied it by 3, so it means I have to multiply this by 3. What did I do to make this 12? I multiplied it by 2, so that means I have to multiply this by 2. And now let's rewrite this so it doesn't get so confusing. 3 times 3 is 9. The denominator is 12. 5 times 2 is 10. The denominator is 12. And I get 19 twelfths. Okay, well, that is an improper fraction, so we need to change it. 12 goes into 19 one time, and what's left over? 7. The denominator stays the same. All right, so takes into account lots of other things that we've learned as well. All right, let's see how you do on your own. I'm going to give you a few problems. All right, go ahead and work out these problems and figure out which ones are the easy peasies, the half easies, and the no easies. This isn't supposed to be 12. This is supposed to be a half. There you go. All right, now work them out. And when you're done with all of them, go ahead and play the video again. Okay, let's take a look at these answers. Did you get 1? A whole number, because 3 over 3 is 1. Number 2. These were the easy peasy, so you just had to subtract the numerator and you should have got 8 23rds. All right, 3 and 4 were the half easies. I could turn 3 into 6 by multiplying it by 2. So 3 times 2, and whatever I do to the denominator, have to do the numerator. So this changes to 1 6 plus 2 6, which gives me 3 6. And 3 6 can be simplified to a half. Take a look at, if you got it wrong, what happened in your work. Or if you got it right, good job. Here's another half easy. I can multiply 2 by 6 to give me 12. So multiply 2 times 6, and then I have to multiply the 1 by 6. So I'm going to change it now. The 7 twelfths stays the same, because this is a half easy, and this ends up being 6 twelfths. So 7 twelfths minus 6 twelfths gives me 1 12th. Okay. How'd that go? All right, now we have the no easies. We had to find the least common multiple of 2 and 7, and that is 14. So to make 2 turn into 14, I multiplied it by 7. I have to do that to the numerator. To make 7 turn into 14, I have to multiply that by 2, and I have to do the same to its numerator. So I get 7 14ths, and this changes to 4 14ths. And now I can subtract. 7 minus 4 is 3, and the denominators stay the same. How'd you do? All right, our last no easy, I've got 6 and 9, and I can turn them into 18. All right, 6 times 3 is 18, and I have to multiply the 5 by 3 then. 9 times 2 is 18, and then I have to multiply the 1 by 2. So this then changes to 15 18ths minus 2 18ths, which gives me 14 18ths, and then I simplify it to 7 9ths. All right, It's okay if you're still struggling with this. We will work on it again tomorrow in class. Please bring your questions, and most of all, bring your notes. All right. See ya. Bye.